think I'm gonna, let's see, adjust this. Let's see. Okay, we're going to discuss some things that I think are interesting about Wisconsin. Good morning, everyone. I'm just testing out this live stream. I don't know if I'll end up deleting it or not. I didn't advertise it. I just want to see one, if I'm any good at presenting documents while I'm talking. I don't even know how to do that. I need to figure out how to share documents while I'm talking. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Bureau of Justice Administration's National Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. So basically, I think what happened was there was a group of officers, probably females, who were concerned about the massive amount of untested safe or sane kits. Now, what those are sexual assault forensic evidence collection kits. It appears from the data that I've been able to view that these kits went back, decades, 1940s, 1950s. So there's a lot of untested forensic evidence from violent crimes against females and males that has just been left to just to disintegrate while these perpetrators walk around, with without a care in the world, and the victims, if alive, have no justice. These are linked not only to violent sexual assaults, but these are also linked to murders with a sexual assault component. Now, what got me interested in this was that I have been, and many people looking into the Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey case have felt like Gregory Allen was definitely minimized. His violence towards women, his violence towards everyone was minimized. But yet we can look at document after document, official police reports that show that Gregory Allen was a very dangerous individual. And yet Manitowoc County and the state of Wisconsin want to present Stephen Avery as such, right? They want you to think that Stephen Avery is a psychopath, that Stephen Avery is, a violent felon who just beats on women and sexually assaults women and has pedophilic tendencies and tortures animals, and just they take a very, very small rap sheet, and they have filled it with these either proven false allegations. Sorry, I have something in my eye. Either proven false allegations or unsubstantiated and unsubstantiated. These are police reports that, one, they are written by officers days or weeks after the fact. And then yet another officer is going behind that officer and transcribing it. Um, they are not audio recording the interviews with the witness, and the witness is not reviewing the incident report to say, yes, I said this. So basically, we are looking at an officer's version of another officer's version of events that we know officers in this case, in the Teresa Halbach case, have lied repeatedly, massively. They have taken, you know, they have taken great liberties with the truth. So, that being said, um, Stephen Avery just isn't as bad of a criminal as they want us to believe. He's just not. He has a he broke into a bar with some friends, stole some quarters, some cheese sandwiches, some beer, and there's rumors, maybe some photos that he shouldn't have seen, he got a hold of. Now, I don't know about that. I don't think there's enough evidence there to spend time looking into that at this point. I think the only person who could give us information about that is Stephen Avery, or maybe his mom, but his mom's passed now. So um, I I think we have enough verifiable information to focus our attention on than to spend time looking at something that is not going to lead us anywhere. That being said, if by chance someone sees this video and they have verifiable information about photographs that Stephen may have saw that could have put him on Tom Kocourek and Denis Vogel shit list for life, please reach out. I'd love to see that. So that being said, Gregory Allen is a really bad guy. I mean, evil, psychopath, violent, prolific rapist, um, who has been linked to dozens and dozens of sexual assaults of women and young girls. He's suspected in the murder of Donna Emmel in North Carolina. I think it was in June of 1976. Yeah, in Newport, North Carolina. Um, so, so I think that I feel confident that there are other victims of Gregory Allen out there. Now we know that Gregory Allen worked for a power company for about 3 years while Stephen was sitting in prison for crimes that Gregory Allen committed, and um, so and he traveled all over the United States. He was in Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, um, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota. Um, so, if you look at the documented criminal history of Gregory Allen that we know he can't stop. He is obsessive compulsive when it comes to stalking and preying upon women, like all serial rapists are. There's no containing his desire to peep and prowl and expose himself and break into women's houses and steal. He had an obsession with bathing suits and bras. So I think that it is highly likely that even while he was working for this power company, he was committing sexual assaults or sexual assault related criminal activities. I also think it's very likely that he's murdered other women. So, that being said, I started looking into trying to get police reports from the places where he was working, when he was working for this power company. And I ran into this huge problem that since the 90s, um, police storage of police reports has changed several times, and they do not want to keep active open cases at the forefront. So these cases, because they're older, have been shelved or stored offside or trans not transferred into the new databases. So I fill out these records requests, I send them into these agencies, and they just simply say, we don't have any record of that. Well, the reason they don't have any record of what I'm looking for is not because it doesn't exist, but it's because it's sitting in a long forgotten box in a long forgotten corner of a long forgotten room. And these officers have their plates full, and no one wants to get up off their ass and go look for something that I don't have a lot of information about, because what I have are dates and and suspected crimes and a very loose modus operandi. So they don't, so basically I'm just getting, blown off. Every records request comes back with either, I want five, six, $700 up front to look for this information, or simply they don't have it. So I started thinking, well, there has to be another way to catch him. I know that he, I know that there are. So what happened was I got tired of hearing that these places had no open unsolved sexual assaults or sexually motivated murders, because I know they're out there. Even if Gregory Allen didn't commit the crime, I know that there was crimes like that being committed in those counties at that time. So telling me there's no open cases makes me think that there are, and you just don't feel like doing the work. So I started playing around one day, Googling online. And I was like, um, how many open, unsolved sexual assaults or sexually motivated murders of females are there in uh, Missouri, for instance? And I stumbled upon the In the Backlog website. And the In the Backlog website appears to have been started by a group of women and, well, maybe men, a group of individuals who were working in the victim crimes, uh, like crime victims advocacy foundation. And they, I guess they started going, you know, opening up a dialogue with their Congress people about these untested sexual assault kits and all these open sexual assaults where there just wasn't a massive desire on the behalf of law enforcement to get these cases solved. So they got a hold of some Congress people who were rightfully interested in putting a stop to this, and they started advocating for funding, and they were able to secure legislation to allocate funding to first begin a compilation of the number of untested kits in America. And then once they had the data for that, they started um, figuring out a way to get these tested. So um, basically, any state that requested funding had to complete a pretty lengthy questionnaire about all the kits. And the other thing is, every law enforcement agency within that state had to supply the requested data about the kids for the state to qualify for this grant. And so it looks like if Gregory Allen did commit a crime, did commit more sexual assaults, and the victim did notify police, and there was a sane or safe kit collected, there's a really good chance that he could be caught. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed about that. Now, what concerns me is that the more that I look into the collection of sane safe kits in Wisconsin, I'm the more disturbed I am. And that is because these kits in Wisconsin only go back to 2010. So any sexual assaults or sexually motivated murders prior to 2010, they didn't include in the data collection. And I just find that so odd. What about all the victims prior to 2010? What about their justice? What about, you know, prosecuting their cases? First degree sexual assault in Wisconsin does not have a statute of limitations. Murder does not have a statute of limitations. Second degree and third degree sexual assault in Wisconsin have a 10-year statute of limitations. So when they started collecting the data for these cases in 2015, even if that would mean that cases in 2005 could still be prosecuted. So why not include them in the data collection? I mean, it just doesn't seems indicative of wanting justice for your citizens, and I found that odd. So I submitted a couple of records requests trying to get more information on that, and I also reached out to the lady. Her name is Keely O'Reilly, maybe. Hold on. Her name is Keely Crowley. It looks like she is the one of the spokespersons for the Wisconsin Sake Project Initiative. So we'll see if she responds back and if she has any information about that. Now, the other thing that has really been bugging me lately, excuse me, is the whole juvenile judge from Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, by the name of Brett Blomme, and the fact that he was caught distributing videos of toddlers now, not preschool, toddler children engaged in sex acts with grown men. And I know of 9 counts, 2 federal, 7 state. And he, in September, took a plea in federal court that dropped all 7 state charges, and he pled guilty to the 2 federal charges of distribution of child porn. He got a 5-year sentence with the maximum amount of time off for any and all relevant ways. So he's going to spend likely 2.5 years in prison. He got a $5,000 fine with that plus $100 fee that was due immediately upon taking the plea and admitting his guilt. And he had to surrender his poor iPhone. Now, I got a serious problem with that. Also, he's not going to be on the sex offender registry, it seems. Now, he is married. Him and his husband have children. He didn't lose his children. He was the CFO of his charity called the Cream City Foundation. And I know that there is some type of a brick company called Cream City, but I'm sorry, a pedophile who is who is distributing child porn. Cream City has nothing to do with Brick. It has everything to do with, a embedded confession about your sexuality and sexual preferences. Um, and I just think that there's more to the story than that. Why did they rush this case through? Why is there minimal coverage of it? Why are they not talking about who he was distributing this porn to? I've sent in some records requests trying to get information on this case. I haven't heard anything back yet. There is something else that went on around the same time, and that is that uh, the Court of Appeals Judge Paul F. Riley, in the middle of his term, and at the without any prompting from Governor Evers, because Governor Evers is still trying to fill his seat, and this is November, he submitted his resignation. Now, Paul F. Riley, from the start of his career, has aimed to be a judge. I think he probably aspired to sit on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and yet he resigns. And he lives about 20 minutes from Brett Blomme. They could not be more different on paper. But what if he was one of Brett Blomme's customers? And because he is attached to the Stephen Avery case, Judge Riley denied several of Stephen's appeals prior to Kathleen Zellner becoming Stephen's post-conviction attorney. And he helped author that laughable and ridiculous decision issued by the Court of Appeals this summer. What if, he's going to get away with possessing child porn because of his connection to the Stephen Avery case or some other thing like that? I just, the corruption in Wisconsin is just unbelievable. It really is. So, anyway, I just wanted to try this live. I hope everybody has a great Saturday and a happy Thanksgiving. And we will talk more soon. Bye for now. Oh, as soon as I figure out how to shrink it. There it is. Bye.